caught in the crossfire. Was caught in the
My cousin thought she was being so clever. It did not work out for her. So here's a malicious compliance story that made my family laugh for years, and still does. A good few years back, I was about 24 to 25 years old. I went to Cyprus with my grandparents to visit relatives. My grandparents originally came from there and moved to the UK when they were like 16. My cousin, 14 female, also came along. Now it's important to mention that we're Greek Cypriots. Certain things are expected when we visit relatives, such as helping out with things if we can, and offering our help for whatever our host might be doing. It's also worth mentioning that I have a sight problem, but I'm extremely independent in spite of it. So we were visiting relatives, and every time I offered to help out, either taking dishes into the kitchen, bringing them out of the kitchen, washing up, even getting a glass of water, I kept being told to sit down, they could handle it. I didn't understand why, as I'm perfectly capable. I thought it might be to do with my eyes. One day we were visiting a great auntie of ours, who owns a little summer home by the sea, not too far from where we were staying. Now when we visit this auntie, I always go swimming. She's literally not even a couple of minutes away from the sea. Now as I went to offer my help to my great aunt, I hear my 14-year-old cousin talking to her in Greek. Another important note, I can't string together a sentence in Greek. My father is English and had something against us speaking Greek. But although I'm not a fluent speaker, I can read, write and understand Greek. My family doesn't know this. They assume that because I'm not a fluent speaker, that they can basically hide their conversations between other people. My cousin was telling my great aunt how clumsy I am, how stupid I am, how I'm a little soft in the head. She was saying it in Greek. She thought I couldn't understand her. But I knew exactly what she was saying, even if I couldn't string sentences together myself. I knew what she was saying about me. I added 2 and 2 together, and realized my cousin was very obviously telling all my relatives this. She did it because she thought she'd get praised if she helped bring out the food without me. I was angry, but I knew the perfect revenge. We ate lunch, and after we were finished eating, my great aunt asked my cousin for her help to take the dishes in and do the washing up, as she'd been on her feet most of the morning, preparing the food. My cousin looked at me, knowing my great aunt couldn't speak English, and said, "Hey OP, Auntie needs help taking the plates in and doing the washing up." Because now, she was bored, and expected to run off to the beach and leave me doing the hard work of cleaning up after. So I looked at her and said, "But I'm too stupid and clumsy, and soft in the head, to help Auntie out. Besides, she asked for your help, not mine." She went pale, realizing I knew what she'd said. But she doubled down. "I helped bring everything out. You could help take it all in." I laughed at her, picked up the book I'd brought with me, and got up from the table, grabbed the towel I brought with me, and went to walk off. My cousin started whining to my grandparents that I wasn't helping her. My grandmother looked at her and said, "You made your bed. Now you lie in it. Your cousin caught you lying about her, and now she can go to the beach, while you help your aunt." My cousin went completely white then. So I went to the beach, swam for 30 minutes, then chilled out on a deck chair, reading my book under the shade of a nice umbrella. By the time my grandparents called to me that we were heading home, my cousin had spent all of it helping to wash up and dry things and put them away. She hadn't gotten to be lazy and go to the beach to enjoy the sea. I could have helped her. I simply decided that I wouldn't, as she never earned my help. Since then, every time we went to a relative's home, and she was asked to help, I watched with a smirk on my face. To this day, I'm 37 this year, I still won't help her. She made out I was incapable to people. So now she suffers the consequences. It's the malicious compliance that keeps on giving to me. Edited to add. Answers to some common questions. 1. I was born with congenital cataracts and I'm 85% blind. 2. This didn't actually start out as something to carry on for years. I don't actually carry it on myself either. It started out as a consequences for her actions type lesson. The family picked it up because she wouldn't admit to the lie, and no one liked her lying. They don't actually make her do extra chores when I'm not there, as the whole thing started because she said I was incapable, so the family basically told her she had to help out her incapable cousin. Three. The family carried it on until this point, because she refuses to admit to the lie. To this day, over a decade later, she still says that I'm incapable, clumsy, soft in the head, to any relatives that will listen. She's now a full-grown adult who refuses to let go of the lie, so the family has kept up her narrative, because she won't let it go. 4. Some people have asked if my grandmother knew what was going on before I confronted my cousin. She did not. After I caught her lying about me, and used her words against her, my grandmother straight away asked my great-aunt, in front of us both, if my cousin had said that. My great-aunt confirmed it, as she didn't know my cousin was actually lying. I'd already put 2 and 2 together and realized this was probably what my cousin had been doing with everyone we visited. My grandmother was one of 10 siblings that made it to adulthood, and my grandfather was one of 6 siblings that made it to adulthood. We visited a lot of relatives. So once my grandmother found out my cousin had done this at my great-aunt's, my grandmother dug around and found out what I'd already guessed. When my grandmother asked exactly why she thought that it was okay to do this, she doubled down, and basically claimed it was true. So my grandmother told our relatives that this was absolutely not true. She also told them that as my cousin refused to admit to the lie, that they should treat her as the only capable one when I was there. If she wants to lie about her family, my grandmother asked they act towards her, as if the lie were true. If I was incapable, then I couldn't possibly help out, but my cousin was not incapable, she'd be required to do the stuff they'd normally ask of me. Please don't get me wrong. She wasn't asked to do anything OTT, like cleaning hunted kills, paving driveways, or herding cattle. She was asked to wash dishes, carry dishes in and out of the kitchen, drying and putting away clean dishes. Simple things asked of anyone. They just made a point of only asking her when I was there, because of her refusal to admit to the lie. She's 24 to 25 years old now, with her own place. But she still goes around telling people the same lie about me. My grandparents didn't know about it until I confronted her with it. They just made a reactionary choice when they found out what she was doing.
Still ain't helping her over a decade later and smiling about it. Impressive.